What's going on, guys? So, replaced the battery in my Chevy, my 2014 Chevrolet Silverado, and this video is not about how to replace the battery. I'm gonna point some stuff out, but the video is about why I replaced out the battery. What you're hearing, that beeping, is my alarm system. Disregard. So anyways, what happened is, and I discovered this earlier today. My bed lighting system was left on, and that's probably, or actually I'm sure that's what killed my battery. So I go to start my truck on Monday, it's dead. So I start it on, I get it jumped with my little jump pack on Monday. Get home, I did some running around. I get home, and I put on the charger for like 6 hours, and when I tested it, it was showing 11.9. Even though I had left the bed lights on, it still should have been at, I would imagine, 12.5 or 12.8 or something like that. And the other thing that I noticed is my dash lights were flickering ever so gently, ever so mildly. I didn't notice so much that the headlights were flickering, but I did notice that the dash lights were flickering. I had the battery and the alternator tested probably within the last 6 months, probably about 3 times, and they both tested good. But like I said, right after I got home, I think it was right after I got home, or right when I disconnected the charger, I put my little, I got a new edition test light, and the new edition test light actually has the display of the voltage on it, which is really cool. And it was telling me 11.9, and after 6 hours of charge, or after I came home, whatever it was, it should have been giving me more than 11.9. And when I had the engine running, it was still giving me 12 volts, and the alternator puts out 13.5 volts, something like that. So and it looks a lot better with the new battery. Anyways, so give you some pointers. So this 13 millimeter bolt, 13 millimeter bolt, 13 millimeter bolt. Take this whole bar out. Okay, there's a 13 millimeter bolt down here. It's a little rubber stopper. It holds the battery in. 10 millimeter bolt. Okay, and then you're gonna pop the this whole plastic. This whole thing is all just a plastic tray. There's 2 retainers on this side, and there's 1 retainer on this side. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pop those up, and once you have this removed, you can just flop this out of the way. Okay. What I ended up having to do, the issue that I ran into, is this was tight on the battery. I mean, it would still move a little bit, but not a whole lot. But this nut and bolt was it was corroded and rusted, and I ended up breaking them. I ended up having to pry this terminal off of the old battery, which I have yet to bring in for my core. And then when I was working on it, I decided to disconnect this. You can see this little brass nut right here. 14 millimeter deep socket. And then, of course, this was still disconnected. And the reason I did that is because when I was working on this, I didn't want to energize on the positive side. I didn't want to do anything this. Even though there's nothing connected on the negative, and you can't, better safe than sorry. The other thing that's going to help, I saw a video where the guy, he actually removed this whole bracket right here, because the battery, as you can tell, sits up underneath this little lip here, so it's not going to just lift out like in your daddy's Buick. So what I did, I followed A1 Auto's advice. I think it was A1 Auto. Anyways, that down there, I don't know if you can see it. There's a 10 millimeter bolt down there. Once you have the 13 millimeter, once you have that, and the battery, you can slide the battery back a little bit. There's another 10 millimeter nut down here, and then this whole thing, you can just kind of flop it over, and that'll help you actually pull the battery out. So yeah, that's the issue that I ran into. My biggest issue was this right here. I had a backup contingency plan. Otherwise, to replace this cable, because you can't get these terminals. You'd have to make something. You'd have to manufacture something like for this to work. So, but this cable, this negative cable here, I think it's like between $30 and $70. I don't recall, but I didn't want, so I just replaced. I was fortunate to be able to use the same terminal, just replace the nut and the bolt. So, and then everything else was just, you know, it was cake. It really was easy, but it was not as easy as like I said, replacing your battery in even my 2004 Tundra. I put a battery in it, and you know, batteries nowadays are becoming like an afterthought. Like, oh, we forgot to make room for the battery. So I know my sister's Charger has the battery in the trunk, and that's just ridiculous. And if the battery's dead, guess what doesn't work? The trunk release, because it's on a relay. It's not a mechanical switch, which I think is just insanely stupid. So if the battery in a Charger dies, you got to crawl through, and then you got to use the cable release on the inside of the trunk. You know, the child release. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. So that's why I replaced the battery, and that's those are some quick little pointers for you. But if this video helped you, if it gave you any information, any useful information, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Hit that like. And like I say at the end of all my videos, if you want to see my next video coming out, if you're curious to see what I have coming out, because I've always got videos coming out, I don't have any specific general content. If you want to see my next video coming out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified. It's been a while since I've done a video, admittedly, but if you want to see what I've got coming, go ahead and hit that subscribe, and you'll be notified when I have a new video coming out. All right, thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.